All right, starting off with number 11. The number of you that missed the given statement was beyond appalling. What is given? That the length is x plus 20, the width is x plus 8, and the known area is 85 square centimeters. By the way, if you look down and glance, that's choice 1. That's what's given. Now, what happened here? The formula for the area of a rectangle, length times width. This is literally area equals length times width. I don't understand what's wrong with you kids. Area is length times width. The next reason is the FOIL technique. That's what you do on the left-hand side. Oh, by the way, area equals length times width is what choice? Choice 4. If we FOIL, we'd have 85 equals x squared plus 20x plus 8x plus 160. So that makes 28x right there. So I just glance down, and where do I see that at? I believe I see it in choice 5, VI. There's nothing mentioned in choice D and E. Well, I mean, I did these the way you're supposed to do them. You're supposed to subtract 85 from 160. That's supposed to come over here. So x squared plus 28x plus 75, I think, must equal 0. What did we just do? We put it in standard form. We set it equal to 0. I'm not even sure if there's another name for that. But that's what we did. We achieved standard form. And then we factor. 75, you're supposed to think of 3/4. It takes 3/4 to make 75 cents. So, oh, by the way, what choice was this? This was choice 2. So now I'm looking for 0 equals x plus 25 times x plus 3. That's choice 3. The results of the zero product property, the cover-up method. If you cover up one, you get that x is negative 3. If you cover up the other one, you get that x is negative 25. They are negatives. So that'd be choice VII. And then we have to list the real solution, the extraneous solution. A lot of you guys missed these two. There was a lot of kids who got everything right down to here. Well, I know that length is x plus 20. So if I let x be negative 25, then my length would be negative 5, which is nonsense. This is nonsense. So my extraneous solution has to be that x is negative 25. And if I let x be the negative 3, well, negative 3 plus 20 is a positive 17. That works in the real world. Extraneous solutions are solutions that work algebraically, but not in the real world. That's what they are. So the real solution was x equals negative 3, which is choice X. And the extraneous solution was x equals negative 25, which is choice 8. That's how hard the table was. It wasn't that bad. I don't know, kids. Get your head out of your rear end and figure this stuff out. I don't know what else to tell you. Find the product of 5x minus 2 all squared. So Jesus would write this thing twice, and then he would FOIL. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. 5x times negative 2 is negative 10x. Negative 2 times 5x is negative 10x. And negative 2 times negative 2 is plus 4. There were an alarming number of kids, because I actually glanced at a couple of tests, who wrote this and then chose B. You wrote this and chose B. I don't know if you've got anxiety. I don't know what your deal is. I guess I've probably made that same mistake once or twice in my life. But a negative 10, take away 10 more, is not 0. It's negative 20. And I'm sorry if you did everything right and then you chose the wrong thing. You just chose the wrong thing. Such is life, kids. A lot of people make lots of good decisions, but they make one bad one. All right, what are two factors of 9x squared plus 8x? This one aggravated the living snot out of me. How'd you miss it? It's the first commandment in math. The first commandment that I have. This isn't sacrilegious because I'm talking about math, not God. First commandment of math is if you can pull it, pull it. Both of these things, both pieces possess an x. Both pieces have an x as a factor. So I pull it. If I pull an x from 9x squared, I have 9x left. If I pull a 9x from a positive 8x, I have a plus 8 left. These are my two factors. One of them's x, and the other one's 9x plus 8. That's how hard that question was. 14 says, what are the x-intercepts of f of x equals x squared minus 8x minus 20? It even tells you what it is. It's another way of solving for x or finding the zeros. Try factoring. So an x-intercept happens when y is 0. That's when it happens. So f of x gets replaced with a 0 because f of x is y. Okay, that's what it is. Always has been since you were a freshman. That's not going to change. And here we have the case of factoring when a is 1. It's factors of 20 that add to negative 8. Factors of negative 20 that add to negative 8. So it's got to be a 10 and a 2. And to be a negative 8, the 10 is negative and the 2 is positive. And then we use our cover-up technique. That one says x is 10. That one says x is negative 2. So 10 and negative 2. Now in your next quiz, I actually rewrote these. It's the same type of question, but I gave ordered pairs. It wouldn't say 10, it would be 10, 0, because y is 0. And it wouldn't say negative 2, it would be negative 2, 0, because I listed them as ordered pairs. Not trying to throw you off, but those are ordered pairs. Here's the mean Russian problem. It's a made-up problem, by the way. So anyways, you've got a height function given. It's negative 16t squared plus 144t plus 160. I bet 45% of the student body missed number 1, and that is an absolute shame. You're not supposed to miss number 1. You're not supposed to miss it. You're not supposed to miss it. A y-intercept happens when x is 0. That is not an Algebra 2 standard. That's a 7th grade math standard, kids. It's old. Really old. You guys complaining about having to know so much stuff. You don't know anything from 7th grade. You don't. Claiming you're smart and you can't remember a subject taught in 7th grade. You plug in a 0. No surprise, it's the last number. Something's given to you in standard form, the y-intercept is always the last number. I've said that. How many seconds will a student reach their maximum height? And this is an Algebra 1 standard. This happens at your vertex. And the x-coordinate of the vertex is found by doing opposite b over 2a. And I really can't help you if you don't know your ABCs. A, B, C. Do it. Opposite b, be negative 144. Over 2a, negative 16. This is negative 144 over negative 32, ends up being 4.5 seconds. My guess is some of you guys finally picked up a calculator yesterday and you probably did something like this. And you probably just quit. Because, what? You gotta do, if you're gonna use a calculator, you learn how to use it right. You gotta have a master set of parentheses down in the denominator. 4.5 seconds. See that first open? I didn't close because you don't have to. That would technically be better, but still 4.5 seconds. What was the maximum height achieved by the projectile? Well, that happens when you plug part 2 in. This is where, or when, happens in 4.5 seconds. Plug a 4.5 in. The height in 4.5 seconds is negative 16 times 4.5 squared plus 144 times 4.5 plus 160. And that's what I'm going to type in. I think it's C, but I don't remember. I guess I could go look at my key. But if I don't remember it, I might as well do it again. 484. How long until the student goes splat? I have this down as a bonus on this quiz. It won't be on your next one. It'll be a regular question. Because a lot of you guys don't even try it. You see bonus and you just don't try because you're quitters and losers. That wasn't very nice, was it? It's true, though. This is an easy thing to do and you didn't do it. You're not losers. I'm just talking crap, by the way. All right, how many seconds till the student goes splat? It factors. Student goes splat when you hit the ground. At the ground, you're 0 feet off the ground. So you replace height. This is height. What do you think H stands for? With a 0. Negative 16t squared plus 144t plus 160. So you can pull a negative 16. Pull a negative 16 from negative 16t squared. You have a t squared left. If you go to your calculator and you do 144 divided by negative 16, you'll get a negative 9. See, watch. Told you. And if you divide 160 by a negative 16, you'll get minus 10. And this does factor. You need factors of 10 that add to negative 9. So you need a negative 10 and a positive 1. This says that the time is 10 seconds, or the time is negative 1 second. No such thing as negative time. 10 seconds. Small bonus number 2, how fast is the student moving, ignoring air resistance when they go splat? This is found by finding the instantaneous rate of change using a rule that says f prime of x, it says if f of x equals x to the n, then f prime, the derivative, is nx to the n minus 1. So my original function up here was that height as a function of time is negative 16t squared plus 144t plus 160. Now, that 160 has an understood exponent of 1, that t has an understood exponent of 1, and that one's got it squared. So if I kick in that rule, 2 times the negative 16 is negative 32t. This says take 1 away from the exponent. 2 minus 1 is the understood 1. Here, 1 times 144 is 144. And then 1 minus 1 would be t to the nothing. Okay, that's t to the 0. And here I'd have 160. Oh, by the way, this is 160 times t to the 0. It's just gone. It's just a constant. So anyways, this 144 t to the nothing, it becomes 144. So now that I have that equation, I know it takes 10 seconds. The velocity or the speed at 10 seconds would have to be negative 32 times 10 plus 144, which is negative 176 feet per second per second. It's negative because you're falling. I guess most of you guys watched the video and didn't play along with the calculator. That's on you. Anyways, stat, edit. I've already typed everything in this one, I think. Nope, this is a different problem. You go to stat, edit. Your x is going to list 1. Your y's go into list 2. You didn't have to know much to do this problem. You just had to know how to push buttons on a calculator. It's not like you didn't do it in Algebra 1 either. Just to be 100% honest with you, because you did. I'd go talk to Miss Garner right now if she was here, because she's not, because it's still early. She'd say, yeah, we did that, because you did. X is in list 1, Y is in list 2, stat, calc, 4, linear regression. So I'm looking for, this is Y equals AX plus B. A is 8.494. So it's going to be that one or that one. B is 9.293, still that one or that one. And then you need to read the description. This is about watching TikTok or anime and your probability of failing 2 classes. Notice these were pluses. Well, sorry. This slope is positive. The probability of failing has to increase. Looking for that word increase. That even makes logical sense. Choice C. Using your equation from 1, not the table, from 1, determine the probability of failing 2 or more classes if you spend 5 hours on TikTok or anime per day. So you take your equation from 1 and you plug in a 5. Use your TI-84 to do it or whatever. And you come up with choice B. That's how hard it was. Wasn't hard. 17, solve for x. And as multiple, select 27x cubed minus 48x is 0. Looks to me like both of those numbers are divisible by 3, and they both contain an x. So I factor out a 3x, and if I factor out a 3x, I'd have 9x squared minus 4. Whether you like it or not, one of your big math standards is to factor. So 9x squared minus 4 factors as 3x minus 2 and 3x plus 2. That's how it factors, kids. It's the difference of 2 squares. It's the a squared minus b squared pattern, which factors as a minus b times a plus b. That's how she factors. Still equal to a 0. Use the cover-up technique. If I cover up those 2 factors, I know that 3x is nothing. I divide by 3. 0 over 3 is 0. There's one of them, choice 3. Then I go off and I treat each factor as an independent 0 as well. So there's those 2 other factors. I add 2. 3x is 2. X is 2 over 3. Oh, I screwed up. This is supposed to be a 16. Yeah, 9x squared. Some math teacher I am, right? That's supposed to be a 16, sorry. Apparently I got ahead of myself. 4 and 4. Factors of 16 are 4 and 4. So easy fix. Wouldn't be 2/3, it'd be 4/3. This one would be 3x is negative 4. X is negative 4/3. Oh yeah. This says this thing's equal to 0, right? So one of my answers was 0. And if I type that into the original equation, I get 0. 0 is 0. One of my answers was a negative 4/3, so store it to x. And if I type that into the original equation, I get 0. One of my solutions was 4/3. I got 0. Something that wasn't a solution was 4. It wasn't 0. You didn't even know how to factor. You just had to be smart enough to realize you could plug in answer choices. Get your crap together, kids. This one you had to factor. It wasn't pre-response. So I think it's going to take a 7x and a 3x. For a 12, I'm thinking 4 and 3. In reverse of the order I just told you. Because the outside makes 28 and the inside makes 9. And I know that 28 minus 9 is 19. So plus 3 minus 4. Using the zero product property, 7x plus 3 is 0, or 3x minus 4 is 0. This probably had about, I don't know, 40% success rate on this question when you talk about the juniors. I subtract 3. I divide by 7, negative 3/7. I add 4. I divide by 3, or 4/3. There they are. 19, I know some of y'all were scared about this thing. The LCD happens to be x squared. So we distribute our x squared. Goes to all three terms. And then I can look at the cancellations that happen. Right here, 9x squared over x becomes 9x. This is x squared minus 9x equal to 10x squared over x squared. These guys are gone completely. 10. Then I shift the 10 back to the left because I want standard form. And then I get to factor. I need a negative 10 and a positive 1 to multiply to be negative 10 and add to negative 9. So if I change my signs, x is negative 1 or x is 10. Should have been 4 and 5. Now the last question on your test was this one, which is really easy. You add 8. You divide by 3. You'll get 36. You counteract squaring by square rooting. Some of you guys make up your own stuff and it doesn't work. I can think of at least 4 or 5 kids that I actually glassed a piece of paper and they distributed that 3 in. Can't do it. Couldn't do it yesterday, can't do it today, can't do it tomorrow, can't ever do it. Doesn't work that way. You'd actually distribute a root of 3 in there. So good luck with that, if that's your technique. The root of 36 is positive or negative 6. So x is going to be 3 plus or minus 6. Think about that individually. I am 3 plus 6, or I am 3 minus 6. 3 plus 6 is a 9. 3 minus 6 is a negative 3. Those are the two answers. I don't think more than 5 kids got that one right. Anyways, there's your test, kids. I hope Monday goes better for you. For my sake.